Hey everyone, welcome back to Damn Tasty Vegan. It's your friend Maria Rose. Today I have 4 insanely simple vegan freezer meals. So I've really been enjoying watching these videos, but I don't really see a lot of vegan ones. So I thought I would put my hat in the ring and try it out. Freezer meals are so awesome because I now have lunch and dinner for the next week and a half all made. All I have to do is warm them up. I like to make big batches so that I can eat leftovers for lunch the next day. So if you want to learn some super simple vegan freezer meals, then let's hang out for a bit and I will show you how. So one downside that I saw of freezer meals is that it uses so many plastic bags. So in order to mitigate that, I suggest you get some silicone reusable food grade storage bags. Make sure you get the 1 gallon size ones, and I will link some of my favorites below. Our first recipe is this creamy chickpea stew. It's so easy and amazingly delicious. So a good thing to do before you fill up the bag is to write out the date that you make the recipe as well as the name of the recipe so you don't forget it, and then different ways of cooking it, if it's frozen or if it's thawed. And so we're gonna start out with a cup of drained and rinsed chickpeas, about a small red onion, about 4 cloves of garlic, 1 large sweet potato peeled and diced up, a 15-ounce can of crushed tomatoes, a cup of water or vegetable broth, and about a cup of coconut milk. Then for some savoriness, we're gonna add a tablespoon of soy sauce, and I like to add in a cup of chopped broccoli, and then a sprinkle of salt. Now after this is all cooked, we're gonna garnish this with some freshly chopped cilantro, and yes, you can freeze cilantro. So just chop that up, put it in a little bowl, and then we're gonna add some lime zest as well. This is what is gonna bring the recipe together, so definitely don't skip this part. So just set this in a separate container and just store it next to the freezer bag. And then I like to kind of stir everything up, and you can either store this flat like this, this takes up the least amount of space in the freezer, or you can store it kind of sitting up like this. It makes it easier to just pop it into the Instant Pot because it's, the right shape to just kind of dump it into a pot or an Instant Pot. So yeah, you can cook this straight from frozen in an Instant Pot for about 5 minutes, or you can simmer it on the stove for about 20 minutes or so, maybe 25 minutes, and you can put it in a slow cooker for about 6 hours on low. Up next, we have a pumpkin chili. This is from Thug Kitchen. This is a really good recipe. So we're gonna start out with 2 cans of beans. I used a mix of kidney and black beans, and a ton of garlic. I used about 4 or 5 cloves, and a bell pepper. I had a green bell pepper on hand, and then a can of fire roasted diced tomatoes, and a small red onion chopped up, and then add that savoriness, about a tablespoon of soy sauce, and some veggie bouillon. I used about a teaspoon. You can also use a veggie bouillon cube, or if you don't have that on hand, you can just use vegetable broth later on instead of water. Then we're gonna put in about a can of pumpkin puree. Make sure it's not pumpkin pie filling. That would be disgusting in this. So make sure it's just plain pumpkin puree. And then about a cup of water. And then we're gonna add a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of cumin, a teaspoon of dried oregano, and 2.5 tablespoons of chili powder. Then a squeeze of a lime. Why is it that limes are so hard to get juice out of? I guess this one was just unripe. It was kind of stingy. And I like to, seal it up and then just, mix it around as best as you can. So this has the same cooking directions as the chickpea stew. You can cook it in the Instant Pot 5 minutes, stovetop about 20 minutes, and slow cooker 6 hours on low. This next recipe is ridiculously easy. It's only about 5 ingredients and it tastes incredible. I'm definitely gonna make this again. So you wanna cook about 1 pound of pasta shells. At the very end, when the noodles were almost done, I added in about a cup of chopped broccoli to just to blanch the broccoli. Then I added in about 3 cups of cooked lentils. I actually found canned lentils, so it made it even easier. I didn't even have to cook the lentils. And then you wanna add a jar of pasta sauce. Make sure you rinse out the jar of pasta sauce with about a half a cup or a cup of water to get all of the pasta sauce out. And then get some vegan sour cream, and I added in about a half a cup of vegan sour cream. I really love Kite Hill. It's very, very good. If you want it to be extra creamy, then you can add in about a cup of sour cream, but half a cup did it for me. Mix well and top with some vegan mozzarella cheese. Then you want to make sure that you cover this really well with aluminum foil. I used about 3 layers just to make sure it didn't get freezer burnt. And make sure you label it. This can cook at 350 degrees frozen for about 90 minutes, or you can thaw it and you can cook it for about 20 minutes or until it's completely warmed through. And I could have probably cooked this a little bit longer to let all of the cheese melt instead just the cheese on the edges melted. But this tasted so freaking good. I'm definitely gonna make this again. It's so easy. And for our last recipe, we have super simple black bean enchiladas. So I had a bag of frozen bell peppers and onions. It was probably about 2 cups total. And I had some red onions I needed to use up, added that in. And I used about a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of cumin, and a tablespoon of soy sauce, and let that kind of saute a bit. Then I added in 2 cans of black beans and a half a cup of salsa. You could probably add in a full cup of salsa and make this taste really well. Let all of the flavors kind of mingle and warm up. And then get yourself a tortilla. And I like to put in some vegan sour cream right in there and then just top it with a little bit of cheese. And then put at the bottom of your pan, add your enchilada sauce, and make sure that you put the tortilla with the folded side down so that it stays together. Then you want to top it with a little more enchilada sauce once you're done stuffing all of the enchiladas, and top it with some cheese. So when you cook these, make sure that you cover them with aluminum foil, bake them at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes if they're thawed, or depending on your oven, 30 minutes to an hour if they're frozen. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed these super simple and delicious vegan freezer meals. They were so easy to make, and it's really fun because now I have lunch and dinner all ready to go for a week or more. So let me know in the comments below if you have any questions, or let me know what your favorite recipe is or what you'd like to see next. So I will see you all very soon in the next video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I will see you soon. Bye.